What is up, you guys? So I am coming at you today with an at-home leg workout, legs and glutes. So I'm starting out here with my dynamic warm-up. I do this literally before every single workout that I do, just to kind of get my muscles warm, move through range of motion, everything like that, so that I'm ready to go once I start my exercises. And I've got little man there with me today. He is my trainer, pushing me through. But make sure you guys are always doing a warm-up like this before you start your workouts, because it makes all the difference with really getting in those good range of motions with your exercise. So the first exercise I'm going to do is goblet squats. So I am starting out with just some warm-up body weight squats to get ready for this exercise, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick up my kettlebell. And you can use any kind of weight you have. You could even use like something from home, gallon jugs or a backpack or anything like that. And I'm sinking nice and deep into that squat and pushing through my legs all the way up. And I'm doing a little bit higher reps here with my exercises. I do 25 goblet squats, but I'm still doing the same movement patterns that I would be doing if I was in the gym. Like, I just transitioned the exercises into things that I could do from home, but all the movement patterns have stayed the exact same as what I would do in the gym. And I think that's something that can be a hard transition when you're switching to working out from home and you're used to being in the gym, and for some reason people want to jump into doing all these like plyometric body weight movements, just kind of jumping around doing circuits and stuff like that. But if you're wanting to build or even maintain the muscle mass that you have, you want to keep doing those same movement patterns. So that's what I'm doing here with this workout. Nothing fancy. I'm just sticking with those core movement patterns and doing enough reps to make sure I'm fatiguing my muscles and pushing towards failure. I'm not going all the way to failure, but I'm pushing to where those last several reps are really, really hard for me to do. And with this video, I am showing you guys literally everything that I do throughout uninterrupted, because I wanted you to kind of see the pace and the setup of how I do these workouts. So I stick to a 45-second rest time with my exercises to keep the intensity up. I give myself just enough time to recover, and then I jump into the next set so that I'm keeping the intensity high. And if you are doing at-home workouts right and really pushing yourself, you are gonna feel it. Like, this was such a tough workout for me. It really was. I had to push myself through for sure. So the next exercise that I'm going to move to is dumbbell Romanian deadlifts, so dumbbell RDLs. And with this movement, you want your feet hips width apart. You're going to push your hips back and keep your shins vertical. So that's the definition of a Romanian deadlift, or RDL. And I'm keeping those dumbbells right up next to my legs, so I'm not leaning too far forward to put strain on my low back. And just really feeling a stretch in those hamstrings, and then pulling up through my glutes and my hamstrings. And the burn on this one is serious when you do it right. And I wanted to mention too that when I'm doing these exercises, I sped up after the initial about 5 or so reps to show you the tempo that I'm doing. I'm speeding this up to about 3 times, just so that you guys don't have to sit through a super long set of exercises. So just keep that in mind, that this is sped up to about 3 times normal real time. And with all of these exercises, I'm doing anywhere from 3 to 4 sets, and keeping my reps, like I said, pretty high, but not out the roof. Just make sure that by those last few reps that you do, you are really feeling the burn and fatiguing your muscles. I gotta go and get my glass of water and stay hydrated while I'm doing my exercises. Don't forget to drink your water. So definitely keep in mind too with these at-home workouts that you don't necessarily even have to have dumbbells or anything like that. Just pick up something that you have at your house that'll add some weight to the movement, and you'll be good to go. Now the next exercise I've got going on here is dumbbell hip thrusts. I've just got that dumbbell resting on my sweatshirt just so it's not killing my hip bones. And on this one, I'm really focusing on my tempo. So you can see with the reps here in real time, I'm taking a long time to get up to the top of that rep, and then I'm squeezing at the top. So it's about 3 or 4 seconds on the way up and squeezing for a good second at the top, and then drop back down and start it immediately over again. And some cues that you want to think about with hip thrusts. So I've got my chin tucked and I'm keeping all of the movement in my hips. This is a hip hinge movement. So you want to make sure that you're not, arching your low back, anything like that. You're keeping that solid and just keeping the movement in your hips. And I'm really pushing into my heels and my feet with my toes slightly turned out, and that helps me really feel it in my glutes. Now another thing you want to make sure you do is at the top of the movement, you want to have your knees at a right angle at 90 degrees. If you have your feet too close to your butt or too close in, you're going to feel it more in your quads, and that's also hard on your knees. But then if you scoot your feet further out, then you're going to feel it more in your hamstrings. So if you really want to keep that burn in your glutes, then you're going to have your knees right at a 90-degree angle. And this one is killer, y'all. Like, it will really burn out those glutes. And just any kind of weight on your hips is good. You can also, even if you have a lighter weight and you want to make this exercise harder, if you have a hip circle or like a small band to put around your knees, that will add some intensity to this. Now this next exercise, my camera had actually cut off, but I love you guys, so I went back in to film it again after I finished my workout. So this is a staggered stance Romanian deadlift. And this is a great exercise to do because it's a single leg movement, so you can have more of a load on just that one leg. And these are great for glutes and hamstrings. Now I'm moving straight into banded side steps. So it's a really small movement, but I'm really being intentional about putting the force of this movement in my glutes. So I'm really focusing on flexing and contracting my glutes as I sidestep. You can also do these stepping one way for several steps and then coming back. Just for the amount of space that I had, it was easier to go side to side. But man, y'all, I did 50 reps of this, and by the end of it, your glutes are literally going to be screaming. It's so tough. So this is a great exercise to do if you've got just a band at home and not necessarily any weights. Now the next exercise I've got is hamstring curls on an exercise ball. This one's awesome too. It's really good for those hamstrings. I've just got my hips elevated and my core nice and tight, and I'm pulling those heels in towards my butt. You'll really feel the burn on this one. Now if you don't have an exercise ball, you can definitely still do these and use paper plates or towels underneath your feet and just pull your heels in, sliding on those paper towels. And that's another great way to do this if you don't have an exercise ball. So my hamstrings were toast at this point. We're getting towards the end of the workout, and I'm doing banded abductions. So I'm just seated with the band. I like to put it below my knees instead of above because it's better for my knees. And I'm just really pushing those knees out using my glutes. It's a really, really small movement, but you don't have to have much movement and much motion to really hit those glutes. I'm just squeezing the heck out of my glute muscles. Now I'm moving straight into banded kickbacks. And the key with this one is to really keep your core nice and tight and have no movement, little to no movement in your core, just pushing that leg back so that you're feeling all of it in your glute. And your glutes will be on fire with this one too. It's an awesome, awesome movement. And I don't have a huge range of motion with this one either. It's almost like a pulse at the back, and I find that I keep the tension more in my glutes when I do that instead of bringing my knee all the way forward. So definitely give that a try when you do this exercise. I think you'll really feel the burn in those glutes doing this. So finishing up with that, we're moving into our very last exercise. Can't forget your calves. So I've got seated dumbbell calf raises, and this one is great to do. Now you could also do standing calf raises, especially if you don't have a very heavy dumbbells. I would recommend doing standing, but at this point, honestly, my legs were toast, and I really just wanted to focus all of this movement in my calves. So I've got the weights on my knees, and I lean forward just a little bit to make sure that all of that weight, as much as possible, is right into my calves, and just pushing up and coming back down. You'll definitely feel a really good burn on these. So once I finished up this exercise, I was done with leg day. Didn't take me very long, but it was a killer workout, you guys. Like I said, you can get really good workouts in from home if you focus on the right movement patterns and are really intentional and focused on contracting your muscles as you go through your exercises. So definitely give this one a try. Let me know if you do, and tell me what you think about it. But I hope you're doing okay from home, and I will see you later.